To start with, this particular tradition you come from is not a religion in its true sense because it doesn't want to relate to God. It is called dharma. And the word dharma, which is for specialty of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism, has a different meaning altogether. The word dharma says making sense of the human condition, addressing and resolving the human condition. So it's focusing more on humanity rather than God in the heaven. That's the beginning of your journey. How do you practice dharma? Very simple, if you like, modern, if you like, definition of practicing dharma. He says, harness nature external. By that, what do we mean? See these physical forces that kind of bother us? If you can harness them and sit above them, we can use them rather than be buffeted by them. That's the story of humanity. Harnessing nature external. Now, it's not just the physical forces. We have to live with other human beings. We must, if you like, produce a civilization or codes of conduct by using which we can live peacefully with each other. So producing a civilized society by producing, if you like, ethics and morality, which we can all subscribe to and live a happy life, hopefully. So this is harnessing nature external, the physical world as well as the social and the world that we live in, the society, the civilization that we live in. This is a second part of the equation that the West doesn't have, which the Indic tradition has, is this. Not only harnessing nature external, harnessing nature internal. Because if you don't harness nature internal, it can run amok and could produce really very a very jittery life. So all the desires, the emotions, all the drives that you possess you must come to an understanding regarding where they arise from and harness them, otherwise they'll mess up your life. Don't you see in modern Western world, the inner world has not been mastered, not been harnessed. That's why when you see all these kind of very rich people, very popular people, personalities are cracking up, breaking down, imploding. So harnessing nature external, harnessing nature internal. For what purpose? To reveal the divinity which is already within. See, there's no talking about God in the heaven. There's something very special about humanity, and the only you can come, if you like, face to face with your deeper nature, your real nature, is by harnessing nature external and harnessing nature internal. This is the enterprise of dharma. You see the the variation from the word religion. God doesn't come into the picture so far. Then we say, okay, there are certain aspects that we must come to terms with. One of the unique features is, of course, this law of karma. We believe that objects and events are strongly intertwined through cause and effect. This is simply recognizing the law of cause and effect in human terms. This is called the law of karma. And the thing that I've taught you at Eton is this. You must understand the law of karma in its full maturity, because most Hindus don't. Law of karma is not so simplistic, I do good things and good things happen to me. It's not something so simplistic. It simply says whatever activity you do has a habit of catching up and influencing your future. But you also recognize the maturity. There's not only what you do, a lot of other things gang up as well and produce a result. Perhaps it's out of your control completely. This is the mature idea of law of karma. The second aspect of law of karma the Hindus have forgotten is, it's not only what you set into motion, but what you fail to do. Suppose there's a situation in front of your eyes and you fail to address it, that too is going to come and bite you. There are two sides of the equation. What you do and what you forget to do is going to hit you as well. This is the mature law of karma. When you understand the law of karma in its full maturity, you do not become indifferent to yourself or become a fatalist, and you do not become, if you like, indifferent to the suffering of others. In India, this is the problem. When you see somebody down, they say they deserve it, their karma. What nonsense. Here is an issue in front of your eyes, somebody is struggling, your karma is to sort them out, not turn your back on them. And the modern Hindus have forgotten this completely. So the mature law of karma, not only what you set into motion, a lot of other things gang up as well. So don't become indifferent to your own suffering, saying I deserve it. And also recognize somebody is struggling is not because they deserve it. A lot of things ganged up against them and they are struggling, and your duty is to sort them out. This is mature law of karma. So we talked about dharma, we talked about karma. We also talked about this unique feature of the Indic religions. We believe in reincarnation. The Buddhists call it rebirth. It's a technical difference. But this is a very important idea because look, in a way, death puts life into perspective, gives perspective to life. If you don't know where you're going to end up, and if it's just a very like a flicker, the life is just a flicker, then your focus is not that good. But if you know that this is a continuing journey, and you have got many opportunities to continue the progress in any particular field that you wish to, this is the more mature idea of samsara, cycle of rebirth. The thing that we possess inside doesn't come to a hold when we die. They have a habit of, if you like, getting rebirth or reborn. theory of reincarnation is a central feature. It's a very important feature because it offers measured risk against measured rewards. It doesn't give you infinitely skewed risk-reward ratio that you do this good and you go to heaven and enjoy for the rest of your life, for infinite years. It gives you measured risk and measured reward, so it keeps you on your toes all the time. And it doesn't produce fanatic behavior in the name of religion. That's why reincarnation has to be revisited in modern society. This is another thing termed samsara, idea is samsara. Then we also talked about, if you like, the more mundane features of religion or Hinduism. And these are ideas of what are the rituals. Now what I've told you is not that what you do, when you do, but why do you do. And I told you there are 5 reasons we carry on with rituals and why rituals are important. They act as a reminder that there's something missing in our routine life. So you carry out certain ritual to remind yourself. They've got a symbolic significance. They become an important discipline. Everything is achieved through discipline. And rituals also, suppose I meditate every day. It's a discipline. And that also produces beneficial results. And of course the law of karma. Any activity you do is bound to produce a result, hopefully a beneficial one for you. And the 5th reason why we do rituals, any rituals, religious ritual, is because it is part of an ongoing tradition. It gives you continuity with your background. That is why they are important. That's why you're at Eton. It's a tradition here. So these are the 5, not what you do, why you do. That's what I've been teaching you. Why? And it's important to know the why part of the equation. So you can then evolve. As the situation changes, you can change your rituals. You're not lost track of why you were doing it in the first place. Then in the process, I also removed serious confusion you have regarding Hinduism. This is not a polytheist religion. It is a pluralistic tradition since ancient times. It says you can make spiritual progress using a variety of different methods. This is the beauty of Hinduism, majestic and very comprehensive. It says you can make spiritual progress in a theistic mode because this is like a flow. You like to go think of spirituality as a personal person in heaven. If it helps you, good for you. Theistic approach. Which theos? You decide. And different religions have a different idea of theos, so be it. You can make spiritual progress without reference to a theos, say in Buddhism or Jainism. No creator God. And same thing with non-theistic Hinduism. We don't require a God to sort us out. So this is, if you like, non-theistic approach in religion. The 3rd thing that we promote is the idea you can make spiritual progress in a non-religious guise, without reference to religion even. So if you like the matured, kind of very disciplined endeavors you have, whether it's in arts or music or science or literature or poetry, if it makes you one-pointed and focused, it will give you a deeper glimpse into the nature of reality. You can be spiritual without a religion. This is the breadth of religious pluralism that we've been promoting. And that's what I promote at Eton assemblies. And the final thing that is like a clincher for Hinduism, modern contemporary Hinduism, is the fact that forget about a God in the heaven. Recognize it as a ploy, a human ploy to relate to your deeper dimension. Not seeing God in the heaven, but seeing God in humanity. And this idea of refocusing attention not on a God and sorting him out, or sorting out the rest of humanity. Seeing your God here, lighting up all of the living kingdom, lighting up the human kingdom in a more transparent manner. Seeing and serving God in humanity, refocusing attention on humanity, is one of the greatest, if you like, features of Hinduism suited for the modern age. If you ask a modern youth, do you believe in a God in heaven? Look, those thinking youngsters who are struggling with the idea of suffering and so on will say it's very difficult to kind of subscribe to a God. Say, do you believe in humanity? Do you believe in yourself? They'll say yes. And this has been one of the greatest things we've been promoting here. Spiritual humanism, focusing on human being not as a block of carbon, but something very special, essentially a spiritual being caught on a material journey. And the final thing that I specialize in is, of course, I come from physics. And I've been trying to show you that some of the deeper visions that we have in Hinduism, the esoteric Hinduism, and the findings at the cutting edge of modern science, whether it's the consciousness in neuroscience or quantum and physics, are now very clearly pointing to a deeper dimension to reality which is guaranteed not to be material. And that particular dimension, the Hindus claim, is spiritual. So here, if you like, esoteric Hinduism and modern sciences sit very well together. In fact, I'm suggesting the next progress in modern science or modern physics or modern neuroscience is going to come through this deeper vision of what humanity or what this world is all about.
Free e-learning course in Hinduism. To register, please visit www.hindu-academy.com.
Talks on Hinduism. Sponsored by People Care. Encouraging caring for the elderly in their own homes. For more information, please visit peoplecare.com.